Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy Poe Peasy, aka Lovely. You feel me? I'm looking to welcome y'all to All Love Big Love, man. I ain't got my lights right now, but you feel me? We're gonna bounce right back like juvenile soldier, you feel me? But people gang, today's episode. Oh yeah, hold on before I get that started. Welcome to All Love Big Love, you feel me? Today's episode. Oh, if y'all ain't subscribed to the channel, I need y'all to subscribe to that channel, you feel me? All the people that subscribe to the channel and I can see y'all and shit, I'm gonna be doing a drawing. We're gonna be doing a drawing or whatever when we get to 1,000 subscribers, and which is we almost there. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be. I've been I've been saying that the Xbox One or whatever, but I think I'm gonna do a drawing too on that. Like I might put like a gift card in there, a shirt, and then the Xbox. You feel me? I might do three winners. You feel me? But peep game. Yeah, man. Today's episode is about we had me and my cousin Trizzle. We had hit a lick. Well, it wasn't our lick for real. It was just one nigga's lick, but the nigga ended up kind of crossing us doing the lick type shit. You feel me? But peep game. So it was me and my people's Trizzle. The nigga, his name is Vail. The nigga Vail, and his brother BJ or whatever. Damn, motherfucking Cherry, and this nigga named BJ or whatever. So this nigga Vail already knew back then what type of time I was on. You feel me? So this nigga called me and was like, "Yeah, this thing." I'm like, "Cool." He was like, "My people's they supposed to be going out of town," and he was like, first he was like, his people's supposed to be going out of town, and he gonna have a spot so we can all come over, smoke, chill, and shit, right? I guess he was gonna try to show off because when I ended up seeing what was in the house and shit, I'm like, damn. But like, I guess he was gonna like show off and I'm like, yeah, man, this is my spot, da da da, for the week or whatever. We was gonna like, you know what I'm saying, chill over out, whatever, till his peoples get back from in town. So this nigga had called me like a day later. I think it was a day or two later, and he had said he was like, "Hey fam," he was like, "Guess what just happened?" He was like, "Fuck my peoples," da 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 da. Started talking about him and shit. He was like, "Me and him just got into it, and I don't know if they fought or whatever. I don't know if he told me they fought or they just got into it, but one of the two happened." And he was like telling me, "Fuck that nigga, this and that or whatever." So he was like, for real, he was like, I still got that nigga's key. We can go in his house and shit. So me being me back then, I'm like, shit. I don't know the nigga. That ain't my people's. You feel me? Fuck it. You feel me? Let's get this money. You feel me? Damn. I hate when that shit happen. Motherfucker, weed get stuck in your throat and shit. But anyways, my bad, y'all. But anyways, I'm just like, fuck it. We got something on the floor. You feel me? I'm down with it. So it was like the lick is worth it and shit. Like, cause I ain't like getting petty licks. So he was like, yeah, bro, I'm telling you, da 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 da, this and that. I'm like, cool. So we goes over that motherfucker. We taking a long time trying to get in this motherfucker. Cause the key that this nigga had, the motherfucker worked, but it was something on the door. Like, I forgot it. I don't know if it was like a deadlock on the motherfucking door. Like when them the lock, you know what I'm talking about, one of them little bar things on the door. I don't know if it was, I forgot if it was one of them or a brick by the door where you can't open it, you feel me? Even if you got the key type shit. So we was like, damn, how we gonna get in here? So his nigga was like, man, fuck that, fuck that. He was like, I gotta get in this bitch. So he called his little brother. He was like, my little brother know how to get in them motherfuckers. So I'm like, shit, that nigga know how to get in them, fuck it. So he called his motherfucking little brother over, which is BJ. This nigga BJ comes over like maybe 10, 15 minutes later. Walks over that motherfucker. This nigga almost got shot, like, cause I ain't see that nigga coming. It was dark outside. I ain't know who he was and shit. But I almost upped on the nigga. He was like, nah, it's me, it's me. Woo, woo. Only way we knew it was him is cause the nigga's big, he's fat. So we like, cool. So this nigga go over there fucking with the window for about like good 3, 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Man, that nigga said I got that bitch open. I'm like, what? This nigga, I'm thinking this nigga like, you know what I'm saying, just saying nigga, but this nigga got one of the windows open. So I'm like, shit. Hey, fuck it, I open the door, you feel me? So what's so crazy about this lick, I wish I knew the real detail, like the full details of his fucking lick. Because what's so crazy, I was the first nigga to go in the house, you feel me? Like I jumped through the motherfucking window or whatever, and I seen a TV right there. I'm like, yeah, like it was in like an empty room, and the TV was just sitting on the wall, like it didn't have no stand or nothing. Motherfucking flat screen was sitting. I'm like, here, it's us. Took that motherfucker back then. I had a motherfucking Tahoe, 98 Tahoe. You feel me? With loud music and shit in it. But at this time, when I knew we was gonna hit the lick and shit, he was telling me what was all in there. So earlier that day, I had took all my music out of that motherfucker. You feel me? Like I had a lot of me. I had what? It was at least like 5 12s in that motherfucker. Like 16 8x9, 6x9s in that motherfucker. Like it was a lot of shit in there. I had ended up moving out of that motherfucker. Took me a minute, few hours to do that shit. And so the whole back of my Tahoe was clear. So he gets that motherfucker out, loads the first one in. You feel me? Like I said, if I knew the blueprint of the house, I would have did what got done to us. You know what I'm saying? But nigga, my dumb ass runs right to the side door. Unlock the side door. I seen the either, like I said, it was either a bar or a brick right there. Unlocked the side door. Of them niggas, they all came in. He was like, look, fuck it. Y'all get upstairs. I mean, y'all get downstairs. I get upstairs. Y'all can have everything. So we like, cool, fuck it. So something told me that this somebody was gonna try some sneaky ass shit. You feel me? So I told Cuz Trizzle, I'm like, Cuz, watch this nigga. You stay up here. We gonna hit downstairs. You feel me? So me and the little brother goes downstairs. Nigga, we see one of the biggest TVs we ever seen in our life, nigga. Nigga, we was like, yeah, that motherfucker's coming off the wall. You feel me? It's funny too. But look, we started grabbing the other shit, all type of shit. You feel me? Grabbing all type of shit, push it in the car, whatever. Next thing you know, yeah, hold on. Shit. Next thing you know, um, I heard this nigga Phil was like, shit, hey, I ain't gonna lie, I got everything I want. But y'all good? I'm like, shit, for real, just help Cuz carry a few of this shit out the house to the truck. So he was like, cool. So I'm like, thinking in my head, I'm like, why the fuck this nigga ain't got nothing in his hand? And he was like, he's good. You know what I'm saying? So I always had that little thought in my mind. So I'm like, kind of thinking and shit. So something told me, like, before when we get out, everybody get outside, I'ma have everybody empty their pockets and shit. You feel me? I'm gonna empty mine. I'm gonna have everybody empty their pockets. Like, all right, let me, you know what I'm saying, just to make sure and shit. But the big ass TV, we left that right there because that motherfucker was mounted in the wall. So we goes upstairs, all the way upstairs. It's a big ass house. We goes all the way upstairs, and this is when I finally figured out whose fucking house we was in. Cause I goes in the closet, I'm looking for shit. I'm looking for shit, looking for some guns and shit. Next thing you know, I find a little wad of cash. Throws the little wad of cash in my pocket. It wasn't nothing but a good 1,000 and some change. You feel me? Throws that in my pocket. So I'm looking through, you know what I'm saying? I see some little pill bottles. I'm thinking that I was gonna find like some tabs or something, you feel me? So I'm looking at through the pill bottles and shit, like trying to see if I can find some tabs or some bars or anything, you feel me, I can knock. Next thing you know, I picks up one of the pill bottles. It's a whole lot of earrings and shit, and the diamond earrings and shit, jewelry. So I grabs that motherfucker, I throws that motherfucker in my pocket. So then next thing you know, I ended up we ended up going everybody was like we were to go and shit. So I'm like, man, I ain't gonna lie. I want that big ass TV out the wall. So I go down there trying to yank it. So finally I had to like, cause we didn't have no tools and shit to like drill it from out the wall and shit. So nigga, I didn't yank this motherfucker out the wall with a little bit of the residue and shit still on the wall and shit. You did. I'm hanging on the wall, pulling on that motherfucker. But like I said, it took us about like we was in that house for about 30 fucking minutes. You feel me? Because it took me about like 10, 15 minutes to get that motherfucker off the wall. You feel me? But that by itself. You feel me? So I ends up getting that motherfucker, snatching it out the. You feel me? So then this nigga like. I was so happy that I got that motherfucking TV, that big ass TV, and a couple things I got upstairs. I just forgot about the whole hey, I'm gonna tell everybody to check their pockets, this and that. So I'm happy about nigga. I had so much shit, nigga. I couldn't fit no more shit in my big ass Tahoe. You feel me? That's how much shit we had. So we gets in that motherfucker. This nigga Phil was like, "Her, drop me out." So we ends up dropping this nigga off. You feel me? At the dice house. You feel me? Where everybody go and shoot dice at. You feel me? And this nigga brother went with us or whatever. I'm wondering. I'm like, why the fuck this nigga brother ain't go with us and shit? So we gets to the hood and shit. This nigga's look. I'm like, look, since I got the car and shit, I'm gonna keep everything in my car. And if anybody got any serves on anything you got, let me know and I'll pull up and then we'll, you know what I'm saying, make the serve and this and that. Everybody was like, cool. So everybody pulls off and shit. But I was still with Cuz Trizzle. So I'm like, matter of fact, I take that back. We was all with Trizzle and we was sitting in front of his house and we like, damn. Before we put off and shit, I'm like, where the weed at? So I ends up calling my nigga Lil Chop that was at the Dice house. I mean, well, I didn't know he was at the Dice house yet, but I called him. I'm like, you got some smoke? He was like, yeah. So I'm like, he was like, pull up. I'm over at the Dice house. So pulls up at the Dice house. He was like, I served him the weed and shit. And then this nigga was like, hey man, let me hold. He was like, hey cuz, let me hold a little bet or whatever. He was like, I throw you some weed and you know what I'm saying, you ain't gotta pay me back or nothing. But he was like, I give you a little weed for giving me a bet. You ain't gotta pay me back, and I'll still pay you back. I'm like, damn, what happened, cuz? He was like, man, I just got hit in the dice game and shit. I'm like, by who? He was like, this nigga Phil. He was like, this nigga had a whole lot of money and shit. Like, basically, they said he hit the dice game, but at the same time, he had a whole lot of money. I'm like, what the fuck? Cause earlier that day, this nigga was telling me he was broke, this and that, da da da. Cause I was asking him to go ahead with me on some weed and shit. So I'm like, this nigga got some money. I'm like, I know he hit the dice game and shit, but how the fuck did he get some money to even start playing dice type shit? Bro, I ain't had no money. We just had a lot of merch. You feel me? And I dropped him off. So I'm thinking, I'm like, damn. I knew I should have. I knew I was forgetting something. I should have told everybody to check their pockets and shit. So it was like, yeah, bro, I had a lot, like a lot of money, and he had a new pistol. I'm like, what? Cool. Like, what the fuck? So Nick, for the last like whole week, we over at calling, bro. Calling, bro. I'm calling his little brother and everything. I'm basically trying to tell these niggas here, come and get some of this merch. We done sold a whole lot of that shit. And I'm ready to give y'all little cut up, whatever I sold type shit. I'm ready to break y'all off y'all little bread. These niggas ain't calling back, answering the phone, none of that. They like basically like fuck that shit, like not worried about. So I'm like, what the fuck did this nigga get in the house to where he's not even worrying about the shit that we fucking got? You feel me? So I say about a month later, my nigga had ended up calling me because all throughout that little month or whatever before the end of that month ended to going on to the next month, we had sold a whole lot of the shit. And like my cousin, he was like, for real, you can have all the shit. Just let me get that big ass TV. That's all I want. And throw me a couple $100. I'm like, her, fuck it. You feel me? But throughout that whole little thing, I had ended up picking up a few pistols. So I'm looking for him. I couldn't find him. So I started, you know what I'm saying, putting a little pressure on his little brother and shit. Like, man, Herb, you don't come, you know what I'm saying, get your little brother back and shit, da da da. So This nigga still not answering back, still not answering back. So next thing you know, my peoples used to go out with this nigga's mama. So this nigga had found out what happened. They was like the dude had ended up skipping town, moving to Atlanta, and I'm like, damn. So I ended up running to my cousin, Lil Sluggers, Trizzle's little brother. And he was like, yeah, man, I just seen dude on Facebook taking all type of pictures with money and big bowls of weed, smoking weed. I'm like, what the fuck? So come to find out, my nigga Lil Chop, like, that's another thing when we was in the house, before I looked at them pill bottles and found all that shit, I looked at some pictures and I'm like, oh shit, this is whose house we in? It ended up being one of the OG niggas, not my OG, but an OG from one of the hoods from around the way. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, damn, I didn't know this was that nigga's house. You feel me? Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, I ain't know this was that nigga's cousin. You feel me? I thought it was somebody else. Like, I ain't had no beef with him or nothing. But I'm like, I ain't gonna lie. If I knew it was him, I wouldn't even went in there. But I'm like, we already in this bitch, so it is what it is. But uh, his peoples had ended up telling my young nigga what had happened and this and that. And they was like, this nigga had took over 20,000. And basically, when he went in the house, and I told Trizzle to watch after him, Trizzle probably got off track, sidetracked, and started getting other shit. And this nigga had like snuck off, slid off like a little snake that he is, and went in there to the spot like he knew exactly where everything was. Went to that little box, got that little box of a whole lot of money, and then the gun was in there. I'm like, what the fuck, like. Alright, bitch ass nigga, like, and then you ain't even break us off type shit, cause I was ready to break everybody off of what I got, but it is what it is. I'm like, alright, we gonna see you, you feel me? But yeah, man, we couldn't catch up with the nigga for like, at least he was gone for at least about a year or two, then ended up coming back, but he stayed low for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And he was under protection and shit by his peoples, and we was cool with his peoples, like, we knew his peoples and shit, so we was just like, man, fuck that shit, man, we gonna let that shit slide. The nigga did what he did, you feel me? But yeah, man, that's my story, you feel me? About how nigga hit a licking, nigga crossed up, you feel me? But it was all good, you feel me? We did our thing and shit. Nigga wasn't really worried about it. Shout out to everybody that, you feel me, was there with me, you feel me? And ain't no love really lost in that, you know what I'm saying? But it was fucked up what we did, you know what I'm saying? But we was all young and shit. I ain't trying to promote that shit. You know what I'm saying? Stop the violence and shit, you feel me? Stay. But look though, hit that subscribe button. Go in them comments. Let me know what y'all think. If y'all ever been in one of them situations, type shit. If y'all know somebody that have. Let me know if y'all like the video. You feel me? If y'all don't like it, I don't care. You feel me? Your opinion, that's your opinion. You feel me? But everything's all facts. You feel me? But it is what it is. You feel me? It's all love, big love, my babies. Hit that subscribe. Y'all like. Hit that notification bell. It's your boy Lovely.